While everyone waits for Bose to announce their new QC45 ANC headphones, Bose has been pretty busy lately releasing some pretty out-of-the-box products. There's the noise-masking sleep buds, Bose's new frames, which are sunglasses with built-in speakers which are supposed to deliver a first-of-its-kind AR experience, and this, the Bose Home Speaker 500. Now I'm gonna be honest, I didn't expect to like this smart speaker as much as I did, and it sounds very impressive for its small size. But what isn't small is this speaker's price tag. At $400, the Bose Home Speaker 500 is one of the most expensive Amazon Alexa-enabled speakers out there, not including TV soundbars. But if you want to pick this speaker up, I'll have links to the description down below. Bose is obviously aiming for a more mature, affluent crowd looking for a good-looking Amazon Alexa speaker to use in their home. And thanks to this speaker's small size, rounded design, and aluminum body, I think this speaker is going to look great in almost any room you place it. Just like Bose's SoundLink Revolve speakers, the 500 has milled holes going all around the body and there are control buttons up top. Now, I really like the fact that Bose was smart enough to include a full set of physical media control buttons on their new smart speaker. With a lot of older smart speakers, whether they were Team Alexa or Team Google, you were sometimes forced to use voice commands because those speakers just didn't come with something as simple as a physical play pause button. But thankfully, that's not the case here. If you want, you can ask Alexa to control your music playback, or you can do so manually with the control buttons up top. Alexa, play Wow by Post Malone.
Here's Wow by Post Malone on Amazon Music.
And even though this might seem basic or obvious, it's one of those small things you miss when you don't have it anymore. There's also a physical button up top to invoke Alexa, there's a button to mute the mics, and there are physical buttons to switch between your wired or Bluetooth audio sources. Bose even gives you 6 programmable buttons that you can adjust through their Bose Music app. You can listen to podcasts through services like TuneIn, or you can have specific radio stations or playlists set up through services like Amazon Music, Spotify, Pandora, or Deezer. The only complaint I have about Bose's buttons is that they're too smooth. I wish the icons had a bit of a raised texture to them. But another complaint I have about the 500 is the screen on the front. First off, it's an LCD screen that's strictly used to show you the album art or thumbnail of anything you're listening to. And whenever the speaker isn't in use, it'll display the time. But unfortunately, the screen doesn't look nearly as good as the marketing material makes it out to be, and it looks like Bose didn't get the memo that screens are going bezel-less now. But all of that is forgiven when it comes to this speaker's sound quality. The 500 has a dual speaker setup that shoots out its sides, so sound is going to bounce off the walls and create a 360-degree listening experience. But the tiny Bose 500 sounds so big, it has no problem keeping up with larger speakers like the Marshall Stanmore 2 and even the JBL boombox. Now, we're going to jump into a sound test. For the sake of fairness, since the Bose 500 and Stanmore 2 are both wired speakers, the boombox is also going to be playing while plugged in because it does increase its output. So, like I said, sound quality wise, the 500 sounds very, very impressive for its compact size. It's able to keep up with considerably larger speakers without any problems. Clarity and soundstage on the 500 is very good, but I can't help but notice instrument separation is a little better on the boombox. But that is expected because the boombox does have more hardware going for it compared to the 500. But what really blew me away about the 500 is the amount of bass the speaker puts out. The 500 is half the size of both the Stanmore and boombox, but it still manages to put out just as much wall-shaking bass. And you can adjust the speaker's bass and treble through Bose's music app. And again, don't let the speaker's small size fool you, because when it comes to max volume, the speaker also gets just as loud as these other two larger speakers. So overall, I'm very impressed by the sound that comes out of this relatively small speaker, and I really like it a lot. But if you're considering picking this speaker up, there are a few things you should know, especially if you're already heavily invested in Alexa or Bose's speaker ecosystem. The 500 is part of Bose's new smart speaker lineup that all have Alexa built in. If you want to pair multiple speakers together, you can only do so from Bose's new lineup of smart speakers and soundbars. But you can't pair the 500 to older SoundTouch or SoundLink speakers. So for example, if you have a Bose SoundLink Revolve Plus, you can't pair that speaker to the 500, or if you have a Bose SoundTouch 30, you can't pair that speaker to the 500. Even though this does suck, it's pretty common for smart speakers these days. But unfortunately, the 500 also won't play in sync with other Alexa-enabled speakers, which is honestly very disappointing, and I hope they fix this with a software update in the future. And since I'm critiquing the 500 right now, I thought I would also mention that I would have liked if it had a USB-C port on the back next to the aux jack. I just feel that home speakers like these should have a USB-C out port so you can have the option to charge your phone. Because again, it's one of those small things you miss when you don't have it anymore, and I really appreciate it when other speakers do have them. But overall, I'm very impressed by the Bose Home Speaker 500. Even though it has a very small footprint, the amount of sound coming out of this little speaker is truly impressive. And not to mention, its aluminum body makes it look really good. I just wish Bose had used a better quality screen to complement the rest of the speaker. It's obvious Bose is targeting an affluent crowd with this speaker, and if you've got the money to spend, I don't think the speaker will disappoint. Just remember, if you're already heavily invested in Bose's ecosystem, then the 500 won't work with older speakers. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit that like button and get subscribed. It helps out more than you realize. If you want to pick any of the products up mentioned in this video, those will be linked in the description down below, and you can also support the channel by checking out the merch store. But other than that, I'll catch you next time.